So you're sick still?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm sick still, and the thing I want to say is, I've had this. I think I've had this cold for over a month now.
No.
Not that long. I know that when I first came over here and started complaining, it was a couple of weeks.
No, it was 1 week. It was last week.
Come on.
It was a week.
I have a record of these things.
So do we.
This is not the second week?
The thought spiralers.
Last week was like a... right? Wasn't that what it was?
Yeah, there was plenty of that.
But I've had this cold for...
a week.
No, but I'm saying, I think now, when I really trace it, I feel like I've had this congestion for over a month. And now someone like you always have congestion. Who cares? But when it comes... but when Daddy Warbucks... What could I call myself that would be obnoxious?
That was pretty good. I hated that enough.
When Daddy Comedy...
You have you have sort of a Gary Marshall quality tonight with the congestion.
Yeah, I always wanted to do his voice.
Yeah, it's not you're not so far off.
But now I want to do when they have the touring company of Lenny Bruce's that go out from all these appearances.
The Lenny Bruce's?
Yeah, like the Mrs. Maisels, Lenny Bruce.
Yeah.
We're going to get a guy to play Lenny Bruce like Dustin Hoffman played him. I don't do bits. Bits.
Oh, jeez.
So I would think that would, because the thing about it is, I think it's important that Lenny Bruce be reduced to a cliche. I'm sure Lenny Bruce and his people said, I bet one thing that won't happen in the future is this will all be reduced to its...
You know what would have made Lenny Bruce's legend so much better, though?
What's that?
Is if he held up to it. He just did not hold up to it at all.
Now, see, this is the type of thing... We could be here all night with this kind of argument. I think he held up to it. Look, he did the best he could. I think he had drug problems, but he also pissed off the police.
No, but by the end, he was like you on Twitter.
I'm one of the few... Is that good? No, well, I'm one of the few people. I'm one of the few people. Not one of the few people. I love that last performance film where he's obviously distracted. Yeah, I still love it.
And going through court papers and stuff.
I love it. I love everything about him. I wish I was him. I think I'm the reincarnation of him.
Oh God!
But that can't happen, right?
Oh God! I hope you don't think that.
I do because I was 10 years old. I was 10 years old. I was 10 years old, and I felt something change.
Yeah. My balls dropped, and it was
Do you really
Lenny.
think that after telling you the Bridie Murphy story, that I'm going to tell you that I thought I was reincarnated? I do think I was in a Nazi camp or something like that. I mean, that part...
One would think you were.
That's nice. Is that what you wish my family had been in Eastern Europe?
No.
Don't make me say HOSPICE to you.
You're remembering a lot of stuff tonight.
I couldn't stop thinking about that joke. I told Susan about that
what?
You didn't even say the joke, right?
What joke?
The joke? Oh, you didn't include it, I'm assuming.
What?
Our HOSPICE.
Oh, yes, I did. Of course I included it.
But when you pitched it to me, you just, I think, even said the word. Maybe you did spell it out.
I did not sell it at all.
You didn't sell it out, but it was like both of us.
Then you went and sang it.
Both of us, but then both of us. I think
I
it
was trying to slip it under the radar, kind of, not really.
I think it's the type of thing that Aretha Franklin would have. You know, when you think about it, people like to laugh, even when you're making jokes about them.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So, did I mention that my voice is still... So, you can hear it. It sounds raspy.
A little raspy.
Yeah. But it's got to be ready to go act in a couple of days. You know, I have to tell you something.
Yeah.
This movie...
Yeah.
It's driving me nuts. I'll tell you why. I haven't had to do anything for it.
Right.
What is it when there's no skin off your nose?
No, I have to say, there's skin when you get like tensed up to get ready to go, and then you're not going, and then so it's
right. But I mean, like
it's not like high stakes, but it's still kind of roller coastery.
Yeah, and
I mean, not for me because I have a day. You have a whole thing to carry.
Right, and the thing about it is and I don't blame anybody except unless things don't go well, then I'll blame everybody.
Well, he wrote me with good news today. So,
what did he say? He says,
"Well, I don't want to air his business on fake radio."
But you mean I have to get ready to? Tell me when I need to get ready to go.
Think, start learning your lines.
Okay, well, here's the thing I was going to tell you about.
Okay.
Well, you always say you've learned good news. I saw a thing from a week ago. It was going to happen instantly. It said, within minutes. He goes, I read an email that said, we're not on a day-to-day thing now. We're on a minute-to-minute. I don't know how these movies get, it's the mob is bankrolling this, right? Basically?
No, if it was the mob, things would happen quite quickly.
That's what I love when they talk about the old Vegas, which was just completely racist. But the old mob, you put
They
a
got
jacket
things
on.
done.
Because
they treated you well unless you did something wrong and they'd kill you. But they treated you well.
Well, you can't wait to tell me. Am I leaving tomorrow somewhere?
No.
Okay. But you think soon and for the rest of our lives?
No, I mean, he said today that I should, by the end, I'll have tickets by the end of the week, he thinks.
Oh, okay. Well, where am I going? I'm going to England. I hate to tell both of you.
No, I know that.
That's the old Andy.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you. That's like a thing in my family. I hate to pass it on. First of all, we can't be inconvenienced in any way. And then we have a lot of those Chuck Todd, guess what things. But guess what?
Well, CJ, we've been DMing a lot, CJ and I. Because I think he likes the fact that someone is sending him positive energy in some way.
Well, you're able to not multitask, but you're able to. I get nervous that I'm not going to. It just doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But the point is that what I haven't been able to do is say to myself, "You have to learn these lines." I just can't do it if I'm not going to go and do it. I'm not going to be the guy who sits around the old motion picture home and does the lines from The Fiddling Horse. Is Josh here? You know Josh passed away. Why do I have to have you pass away before me? Are we doing the podcast? You know Josh passed away in that horrible car accident.
Oh, my God.
Why his brother was with him at the time.
Wow, you just snuffed out my entire last piece of the family.
I met another person that has a name like you. Is Jacob Sager Weinstein.
He's brother of Josh Weinstein. Whatever. He's brother of Simpsons Josh.
Oh, and
doesn't he live in England?
I think something, but he writes too.
Yeah.
But I just thought we were all. It felt very familial. Have you ever talked or went out with the other Josh?
Yes, we had lunch.
Oh,
several.
Do you have a good anecdote about it? What's the matter with me? What is the matter with me?
Well, we covered the name thing a little bit. He did, in fact, get a check of mine once.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Did he know that it wasn't his because it was so small?
This is going to be a long fucking night. Oh, my God.
That's a good joke. That's a good joke. It was
My Dinner with Rip Taylor,
said,
starring Andy Kindler as the huge pain in the ass.
I don't know why Bob Saget signed the check or something like that. I'm trying to raise his career up. Oh, I think I'm okay now.
I have no idea what we were talking about.
I always feel like that scene from A Christmas Carol where he wakes up and he's all of a sudden changed, and the housekeeper thinks he's crazy, and I don't deserve to be so happy, but I can't help myself. I will watch that. Well, I don't watch it anymore, but up till about 10 years ago, I watched it every year.
Yeah.
I can't watch anything anymore that's a holiday thing. There's nothing new except unless you want to go sit through Hallmark movies. Is it Hallmark? No, Lifetime.
Yeah, I think there's some co-productions.
Silent Night, Deadly Killing. They have that too.
We can wait until you think of one.
The Criminal Investigation Discovery. No, there's Investigation Discovery, and there's another thing. Watch both of them. That's what I say. So, good evening, Josh. People have been writing to me.
I'm so glad we hadn't started till now.
Are you on?
Oh, shit.
No, I mean as an act right now.
Oh, God.
It's terrible, right? I think I'm going to end up being like, who laughs a criminal like that? Is it Mumbles? He goes like, It has to be. Is it Mumbles?
Who's Mumbles? Is
From
that
Dick
Tracy?
Yeah. Like he's an evil guy who goes.
Dick Tracy wasn't it like a comic strip?
It was so bad. It was a little cartoon at some point too.
Was it a cartoon? I can't remember. But it was like Spider-Man style animation, like bad.
Well, they made that movie with the 4 primary colors.
I do remember that Warren Beatty's movie. Yeah.
And when you think back on it, you can't remember one scene from that movie. So don't even try and tell me it was an interesting study of 4-color posters.
I think it was 7 colors.
You always have to 3 up
because it was all the colors that appeared in the comic book.
Right. And how many of those? 7,
I think.
Oh. Well, I hit my first lull.
You're just noises tonight.
That's the other thing. Since I've got the cold, I feel as if I don't feel there's anything attractive about the cold, first of all.
Not from where I'm sitting.
And when you cough from it, it feels as if there's a whole different body inside my body that is keeping all of this congestion, and like I need to send down some miners or something.
Some phlegm miners?
Phlegm miners! phlegm miner! Okay, I knew I had nothing. I think if I said, you ever not have something funny and you just say the same thing twice? All right, look. I realize I'm doing the crazy character too far now. So let's reel him back in. Let's pretend that part of the podcast is now over, where I'm a raving lunatic. Now it's just a normal.
It's a quandary because I think people like these episodes.
I know, but they take 3 years off your life. They take 7 years off your life.
Did you watch The History of Comedy over the weekend with the Clean Comics?
No, I would see. Here's the problem for real though, in terms of being able to handle it, is that I look at the TV and they're doing CNN the 2000s. Right. They're literally doing 10 years ago. It's the most depressing thing I've ever seen.
I tweeted last night, there's a new episode of the 2000s on tonight. I hope this tweet is in it.
But your tweet could be, and again, you wouldn't think these comics would come up with so many different things, ways of saying nothing about comedy.
Yeah, this was especially bad, actually, because there isn't much to say about clean comedy. It's like, it's a commercial choice to make.
Did they try and make it into an hour thing?
They did. It was a whole hour, and it was pretty much people saying the same shit over and over. But, you realize that people pretty much just break it down. There's people who pursue comedy as an artist, I think, and there's people who pursue it as a profession.
Oh, what's the difference? You think?
I think the difference is like you're looking at like Bill Engvall was interviewed a few,
right.
He was, and his whole thing was like, hey, if you can bring a whole family here, that's great. Hey, if you don't offend someone, hey, you've made another fan for comedy.
Right.
And it's all that.
It's all marketing.
It's all customer service.
Yes. Yeah. You just have more opportunities.
Right. And it was about the whole idea of, and a lot of them were saying, if people aren't afraid of being offended, they'll want to come, and It's like, why would I want to entertain people who are afraid of being offended? It's one thing to be capable of being offended.
Yeah.
But to fear being offended, I don't understand that. I don't understand that instinct as a human being to like, I might be offended. And that is so painful for you that
I think it's more like, it's not like blue stuff, those like he may be talking about. It could be
no, but it's political stuff. It's any of it.
Yeah.
But it's the whole thing of don't
go there.
Don't risk alienating your audience on any level.
That's an unbelievable attitude to have, is to have any kind of attitude of like, well, any strategy between how I'm going to entertain people is.
Well, I mean, I think
you have to have.
I mean, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I guess that's why it's an interesting topic to me. Is that it's a floating line for various people. Everyone's. My analogy for comedy was always the real art of stand up, as I saw it from early on, was trying to find that place between what you want to talk about and what the audience is willing to hear. Or what the,
Right.
And there's a continuum between you and the audience. you know, and the more you get that continuum towards your side of the spectrum, the better comic you're being.
Right.
You know, the more you're willing.
This is when you started, or how you feel now?
Well, that's still how I feel.
Okay.
It's still how I feel, is that, you know, ultimately the goal is to get that point on that line closer to your side than theirs.
But what would theirs be like? No laughs, or
no? Theirs is not wanting to be challenged at all.
Okay, right. Okay.
You know, theirs is I'm afraid to be offended. You know, that's the far end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And my farthest end of the spectrum is I only want to talk about shit that
interests you.
Yeah.
Or that you could talk about. Why wouldn't you, you know?
Right.
Why would you talk about?
Right.
But, you know, improvement tools.
And that's, you know, and that's a whole different, there's a bunch of different buckets that you pull from there. There's stuff that you want to like challenge people with. There's stuff you want to talk about because it's super personal, but maybe not that universal. There's, you know.
Right.
All those things would be on the far end of the comic spectrum.
Yeah, but the thing too is like, it also depends on what you are trying to say with the. Sorry.
I mean, my opinion, there's no virtue in being a clean comic.
Right.
I don't think there's certainly nothing wrong with being a clean comic. I think there's something suspicious artistically if clean comedy is the thing by which you judge all your jokes.
Yes. So I guess I now remember what I was going to say. It was like, it depends on how you're looking at the comedy. For example, like I can tend to get into a rhythm where I say this fucking this. I mean, I rarely do it anymore, but I can get to that rhythm where I actually enjoy it and it's not bad. But I am aware when things, whether you're intending them or not, become gratuitous. You know?
And I think every comic, I mean, this, you know this, but the people listening might not, but you know, every comic, the newer the joke, the more fucks go in generally.
Yeah.
Anyone who's working out new material that isn't precisely written already, you know, but trying bits.
Yeah. On
stage, you tend to put that artificial emphasis in with fucks or whatever.
Well, it's interesting, though, that I actually, in a way, try to keep my act clean, but only as a challenge to myself. And I think I'm sometimes too pure about it, but because I've been so conscious.
I've seen you fuck it up plenty of times on stage.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I don't care. I don't care when I get into that mode.
Right.
But when
you don't write them into the joke.
Right. And one thing that I think I have distilled, if that's a good word for comedy, is when I look back at old tapes of myself, or I see people now when they're struggling on stage, and I can still struggle on stage, but you can tell that they're so scared of any dead spots. And I remember that feeling of like desperately not feeling funny moment to moment, like I'm almost not proving it funny.
It's like subconsciously, it's like the last ripcord you can pull before the punchline fails.
Yeah.
Is by going fucking punchline. You know?
Right. And so I think that as I've tried to, like you said to me once, and I remember it all the time, like I've gotten to this one locked hand position with the microphone, right?
Yeah.
So now when I just think of myself, you know, don't put your hand, I mean, I'm not going to yell at myself, but the point is, I know that there's a thing when you're doing stand-up, it's almost like you're holding on to the earth sometimes, or you're leaning onto the stand, or it's like, it's something to do with the general uncomfortableness of.
Right. But part of the illusion is that you don't have discomfort. To me, I mean, that's
right.
Ideally you don't. And to me, like that, what you're talking about with your arm barred across your chest and your elbow resting on your hand holding the mic.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to describe it for people.
Yeah, it's a lock and swivel.
And I see so many comics do it, especially when they're doing new stuff, because it's a protective position.
I never even thought of that.
Yeah, it's a protective position, you know. When you go to like the, you know, I notice it all the time.
Well, that's interesting, because I do feel when if you called out something and I feel like that's my wheelhouse, you know, I look like Elvis or something, whatever the thing was, I'd probably be defensive about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's not your silhouette on stage.
Yeah, so it's I can feel myself tighten up when I get into that mode.
Right.
And so it is it's almost a poker tell.
It is a tell. I agree. I mean, I think, and that's it. I think part of being on stage is pretending leadership.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The more the illusion of leadership is there, the more they'll give over to your leadership.
Right. Except for me, I keep having to remind myself that when I start to feel uncomfortable as a person and I start to ignore the gap between how I'm feeling and how the set is going, because I don't want to go into the usual things.
Right.
Like, oh, that sucked, or this didn't go this way, or whatever. But
like, how do you disappoint yourself on stage? Like when you have a set that you don't like and you're mad at yourself, what are you mad about?
Well, to me, like as you're saying, I'm almost like shuffling around the car. It's like a superstition almost. Like it's almost why I never like to brag about comedy, but when you get into that mode of you think you're going to kill, I don't know exactly I can give you all of the parameters about why it could be really bad. Like I went to this Houston joke joint, and I bombed every single show, literally every single show, and it was Wednesday through Saturday or whatever.
Right.
So to me, it's like occasionally I'd have fun entertaining a couple of comics, and the comics would say they enjoyed it or something in the back.
Right.
But it was excruciating to me because it's that feeling of they really don't think you're funny, and everything you're talking about makes no sense to them in terms of how they normally laugh.
Right.
So that's the worst, is if you're stuck in there. But that happens less and less. That used to happen all the time when the clubs were.
But I don't even mean that. I mean just like a run. I don't mean, of course, everyone feels like shit if they eat it.
Yeah, I see.
I'm talking about like when you have an average set.
Oh, I think it's
what are you working when you're on stage? Are you working on something?
I'm always working on the illusion for me is that. I mean, the perfect night for me, which you can ever do, is like you walk on, there's a couple of things you're thinking about in your mind that's percolating,
right.
An issue of the day or something everyone's thinking about, and you go up there and so I'm going for like a surfing type thing where I'm going from material to material based on that it's all seems to be popping.
Right.
So when it's not flowing like that, so when I guess what I'm trying to feel mostly is to take off the any artifice or any just yelling at the crowd,
right.
Or just yelling at myself.
Well, when you say artifice, do you see on stage Andy as any different from off stage Andy?
I don't see it as any different, except that.
I mean, obviously, on stage Andy has jokes prepared,
right?
But is there any character that you feel like you are?
Sometimes, like when I'm in Acme, sometimes I feel as if I'm overperforming the jokes, but as a joke still.
Right.
So I always feel there's a certain amount of
right.
And like there's always like a tribute to the history of comedy.
Well, but yeah, they're almost Kindlerisms at this point.
Right. Even though we all got, I mean, I don't really know.
I mean, we're all kind of pulling from that. I mean, those are all very vaudevillian moves,
like
that you ape. But
Henny Youngman,
but they're meta vaudeville, Speaking of meta vaudeville, that hat right next to you.
Yeah.
Rosemary's hat.
What did you buy it at an auction?
Allison went to her estate sale.
This is the worst. I love Rosemary, and I used to follow her on Twitter.
That pile of boxes is disguised as Rosemary right now.
She bought more Rosemary items?
She bought 2 hats. And she bought a very good Dick Van Dyke cast photo.
Oh, that's cool.
And she might have bought 1 or 2 other little things. It was like a bunch of people. There was a lot of people at Rosemary.
Where, at her house? Or where was it?
It was nearby, in like Van Nuys.
Oh, I can't be told? I can't go and pick up...
You aren't online like my wife?
What's that?
If you aren't on Facebook and online?
I don't ever go to Facebook is the problem. I miss all those events.
That's not a problem, by the way.
It would be a problem for me.
This was a few months ago.
Right. No, not this.
That was Allison. Yeah, she actually wore the hat somewhere.
Oh, so this is like this is where will this be where it'll be shown in the Museum of Comedy? I could see her in the. I don't know. I convinced myself that that's the kind of hat she wore. What am I talking about? She was probably for some musical she was in. She didn't wear a straw hat on Dick Van Dyke.
She wore a lot of hats. I don't think it was on Dick Van Dyke. No.
Yeah, Allison can't afford.
There was no claims to being game worn.
I would buy.
So no, let's go back to the conversation we were having. So you don't see there is no Andy Kindler character in your head.
If
it's not like emo.
No, you know what it is? It's like the best times of performing for your friends at a party when I'm not trying too hard, which rarely happens because it could be a combination of all those things.
Yeah,
is like. I don't know what it is that I'm trying to make them laugh. I know it's not like where I'm sitting with my hands folded, so I know I get into a shtick.
Right.
But I don't see that shtick is any different than how I would be a delicatessen or anywhere else.
So that's your best you on stage in your head.
I think so, but that's the way I mean,
I think so. I think that's true of most sort of, aside from people who do an actual character, I think that's true for most comics who've done it for a long time, as they start to realize that that's almost the goal, is can you find that version of that's truly yourself on stage but still a comic. Well,
the other thing is that,
like, for me, it's always about it's always about energy for me.
Okay.
It's always about, I don't have, and it's almost a problem that I don't have a stage persona, in that I don't have a baseline to sort of default to.
I know what you mean.
So if I'm with a low energy crowd, my energy will match. You know, because I'm very conversational on stage, and so to be a good conversationalist, you want to match the tone of who you're talking to.
Right.
So I mean, that's my instinct. It's a bad instinct, because it doesn't move the ball anywhere. It meets them where they are instead of bringing them to where you should be.
Right, but where do you, like, don't you find, I find it hard to be like, if I had to stop at any, because I had such bad OCD and I think I told you I went through that time period where for like a year, all I could think of is what hand I was holding the mic in.
See, I mean, because for me, it's honestly, I'm not scared to be up there. And it's not necessarily an asset, but because it allows me to get too comfortable and therefore not presentational enough in my, I mean, this is in the context of what do you beat yourself up about after a set, and that's what it is for me. When I listen back, it's like, no, you could have raised the whole room if you would have brought more of a presence.
Right. But I think then it gets to be that presence. Does it arise on its own, or can you force it sometimes?
I think you have to force it sometimes. That's the thing. I mean, when I play for big crowds, I'm my best me, because I know that my energy is going to be there out of the gate.
Right.
And it just builds from there.
See, I feel like I never know, because sometimes I'll do like a big, I mean, I haven't done a lot of them, but I'll open up for someone in a theater or something, and I'll think it's going to be horrible, and then it's great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's very hard to predict also, I think, because as soon as you go on stage, as much as we want to think that we're controlling the environment, we aren't in total control of the environment. Like,
no, but
in our mind, we think that we should make,
No, there's some crowds that aren't going to turn, and there's some, especially you,
Yeah.
There's some crowds that are just going to, oh, here comes the dog patrol. I can feel it. I can hear it.
How many dogs?
9 dogs coming down the stairs.
Oh, there's no sound coming from outside the house?
No. They heard something, though.
Hi, doggies. Now, you let them out because so they can explore?
No, so they can go bark and be done rather than standing here howling at the door like a hyena.
Oh, you sound like thinking about dogs, because some people like say, don't go out there. I mean, I guess you can't convey all your knowledge about dogs to me right now, but I've always...
It's situation by situation. Like, right now we're recording a podcast, so having a barking dog here wasn't that conducive.
Right, but you didn't say I would think that sometimes Jay would go, "What are you?" I hear a lot of this from the dog owners.
Yeah.
What are you barking at? Stop it. That's what I mostly hear from those people.
Yeah.
So that's not what you're doing.
No, we're better than that.
You're better than that. So you're not afraid when they go out that they're going to encounter a wolf?
In my yard, not so much.
Okay, I just got finished listening to Crime Town, which I recommend to everybody.
Yeah.
It's about Providence, Rhode Island, and one of the.
Are there wolves there?
What's that?
Are there wolves there?
Worlds?
Wolves?
Did you say rules?
I said wolves.
No, you can't. See, that's the other thing. Like these guys in the mafia, they wanted to get a wolf, and the guy goes, "I can't tell." I said, "I want a purebred wolf from you," and he goes, "I can't. It's not legal to sell that in this state." Then 10 minutes later, you come up with the price, and you can get it, but it's not legal. I don't really even know what a pure wolf means as opposed to a half a wolf. But they're supposedly scary the way. There can be scary, and when they get into packs.
Wow. You actually hosted an animal show.
Right, but now wolves are misunderstood. Look, Los Lobos, right?
Yeah.
Will the wolves survive? Aren't they misunderstood out in the environment? If I knew anything about outdoors or animals, or remember when I thought the ants were people? You're saying ants are people.
Yes. Ant-Man, my proven.
Okay, but what is it?
point.
Ants aren't people, but they're all. What are
Animals. They're animals.
Animals. That's the thing. I
Insects
can't
are
get
animals,
it.
yeah.
Animal.
Birds are animals and insects are
It doesn't
animals.
make any sense to me. If you're telling me an animal, a wasp is an animal, I'll say come back when you have something more. I think very crudely, I believe that an animal should be something with meat on the bones.
Yeah.
That's a terrible way to decide.
Yeah.
But
that might be a good way to organize a menu, but not so much a genus. Not so much a genus.
So anything that's alive is an animal?
No.
Oh, why can't I get this? Why can't I get it?
Well, yeah, I mean, pretty much everything.
Because it has to have a brain.
Yeah.
If those little flies have brains, I thought they're idiots.
They're not big brains.
What do the ants have to have brains for? They go, "Oh, you follow me." This is going to be my hilarious new animals chunk or nature chunk.
Let's see what it flowers into.
Now, are your doggies outside still?
There's one dog outside.
You're a very calm dog owner.
Yeah. That's
the
best kind.
Well, first of all, I would be I want to have a doggie one day, but I want to do it the right way. I don't want to
They don't call him the dog panicker.
For nothing. Hey, you know what I say? If they didn't want me to press that panic button on my 2003 Toyota remote control, why is it there? Panic. 10 times a day I feel like pressing that.
He thought it was like a stress ball.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm working material out on you, but what's the deal with spring? Are we going on to fall? Where are we now? Did you get any good watermelon this summer at all?
I did not, but I'm not seeking any.
You're not a big... fruit's low down on what you can do.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
Okay, you can let the dogs back in.
All right.
I love these dogs. They're the cutest dogs I ever saw. We missed you. But very much reminded me of me when I'm outside, and like if I don't trust you're going to open the door for me. We're back.
You don't trust that anything is going to go well. It's pretty much your MO.
Well, that's the old me. The new me is full of pep, ready to face the day. Now, I have a lot of panic, fear, but I don't want to have it anymore. I refuse to have it.
Well, you're doing the right thing by working on it.
Yeah, there's nothing bad with what I'm doing. I like the guy who's in the therapy, but he's like kind of cocky about it. Yeah, I'm getting it done.
That's right. I'm setting things straight.
Exactly.
That's right.
If I can't be me, how can you be you?
I'm cleaning my house.
That's right. Hey, if the floor is wet, don't go slipping.
Why'd you going to slip and now you're going to sue me? Back to therapy.
Back to therapy. Therapy's tomorrow. I'm already looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got problems. Every day, over the course of a day, like today, pretty good day, until I got here. What? Am I trying to manufacture a feud or apologize in case the thing doesn't go well?
I don't know. There's some defense mechanism that you're putting up. It's
That's
like,
what I
don't
think.
get close to me.
That is true. I think I do have that.
Yeah.
But
that's why I went down a more serious road of comedy talk there, because I wanted to engage you in something that wasn't just purely your fucking.
The thing, the thing is that here's the problem. I'm going to tell you what I think the problem is, and with the history of the comedy.
Okay.
And maybe I'm crazy. Look, it's Sean Hayes. It has to be Sean Hayes. Is that his name?
Yeah, he's not in it that much.
Yeah, but he's in the promos.
Yeah.
And he's the creator.
No, I'm not defending it at all. I watched it because it was just running by on TV.
I need someone to blame, because there's the thing. There's no such exploration of comedy that can start with, sketch groups, sketch troops, sketch triplets. And how about the quadruple acts? A duo. And they start talking about duos. The duo.
Lists and exaggerations.
And then to have, but you really do know, though, you find out the comics will talk about any topic that you bring up to them.
Well,
I'm not mad
someone
at
calls
that.
you up and goes, "Hey, I want to put you on TV." You go, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, and I bet they don't get
We did that
paid
fucking
for it.
horrible YouTube video for that with the volleyball thing that time, just because someone asked us. With Academy Award winner, what's his face? But
Yeah, from the guy from the, and we saw that, and it happened.
Yeah.
And he's in that movie, Crash Dummies. Do I ever get it right?
no,
It's not Crash Test or Crash Dummies?
it's not Crash Test or Crash Dummies. It's
He does have a
Downbeat, isn't it?
That's a jazz magazine. Downbeat.
I don't know. Browbeat.
Crash Test. It's about someone calling now. It's about the mean drum teacher.
Yeah.
And Crash Test.
No.
The name of the movie does have something to do with an accident.
Something like that.
'Cause you had-
J.K. Simmons is the dude.
J.K. Simmons is the guy.
Yeah.
And it's the same guy who went, it's the same guy who brought us City of Lights. So we are a city where we dance on the freeway.
Who's this? Who's the?
That's the
same
La
guy?
La Land.
Who?
I don't know the guy. The name of the
The guy who did the
La La
same
Land.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who brought us La La Land.
Smash Face was better.
Smash Face. Wow, we really have we gone 2 hours? That's all I want. First of all, you always talk about wanting to, not always talk about, wanting to.
Never talk about. I'm
You want to talk about describing the show. I like 2 Jews, 2 hours.
Yeah.
I know we have to add to it.
You didn't like 2 mics in there?
Oh, 2 mics are good. I don't remember all the things.
That's the T-shirt.
How we, by the way, we do have T-shirts and we will be making them available. You can write us a joke.
No. Here's the thing. People misunderstood me when I said, if you want to submit something. I didn't mean an idea for a T-shirt.
Right.
I meant if you're a graphic person. And come up with that. Because I can come up with shirt ideas. I have no capacity to turn your idea into a graphic.
You could be
people are pitching pictures and I appreciate the participatory nature of it.
Yeah.
But if you come up with a design, it has to be a design that we can actually use without altering it,
Right.
And here's what I think is a good idea. If we use someone's design, we'll give them a shirt. Because we don't have the capacity to cut them in. The accounting.
Everybody gets a taste.
Yeah.
Have we paid Alex anything yet?
Yeah, he's taken all the shirt money.
Beautiful, baby. Get it while it's hot.
Tens of dollars have come in on shirts.
Yeah.
So that's that. I think it's like 25 and change for a shirt.
Yeah.
So if we use the thing, you get a shirt, and we'll say it was your design in the description.
Where 1,000? How does he say 1,000?
I'm just telling it's not a good deal. I'm just saying if you want.
No. But what's not a good deal is you putting out a task that people are going to bombard you with for the next 3 weeks of jokes, right? Or catchphrases from the show, right?
Some have done that, yes.
Hee-haw. Like someone said, just on the front of the shirt, hee-haw.
It's like shirt idea. Hee-haw.
Hee-haw.
Yes.
Yeah, you're saying you don't need any of those.
I don't need that. That I don't need the pitching so much. But
well, can we have it just shows the
but
goal?
like some people have sent in some cool fan art kind of stuff, listener art, I like to call it. over the year.
The word fan is a terrible word, and everything's going to my head.
Yeah.
But
I have to say, honest to God, I woke up in the shittiest mood this morning, and I went to my computer, and there was like 5 or 6 people had done like Thought Spiral promotional tweets, and like, you know,
oh, that's
man,
cool.
I love Thought Spiral, or man, it was a shitty Monday, and then I remembered Thought Spiral had downloaded, and it changed my mood completely.
So if nothing else, the fact that this podcast can improve your mood is the reason to...
Oh, I didn't say it improved it. I went from a bad mood to a rage. No, I'm just kidding. No, it made me feel better. It made me feel like, oh, well, good, okay. Then I'm not wasting my fucking life.
Well, I think it's a wonderful thing that we're doing, but I don't think we can ever rest on our laurels.
No, it's not about agreeing with them even. It's just about the fact that, oh, okay.
People...
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
it was
something's
like,
going on.
Yeah,
it's positive.
It was like a bunch of positive messages about what we're doing that I started my day with. And it was
I'm thrilled.
So thank you.
Thank you. Oh, not you?
Well,
me?
Both.
Thank you for being yourself. I thought you were going to say, and then you came here and you brought your sunshine
No.
and your conversational abilities.
No.
And then
But you did bring a wheezy cackle.
You know, here's the thing. When you say, do I have a persona on stage?
Yeah.
Everything in a certain sense becomes a persona. So I know that I'm laughing it up, and I know I'm raspy, and something about it is enjoyable to me. But it's not. It is. I'm trying to do a thing. That's the most annoying part about me.
Yeah.
Is I am as opposed to just a regular person telling jokes. I always got to give it a little zets.
All right. So you're saying you're not just unconsciously being horrible. It's calculated.
Everything I do is calculated. I like these kind of acts. Everything I do. I knew that next joke would make them feel like they wanted to kill me. And then I got him back with that joke. How about that Bill Maher, though? How about that Bill Maher? I know. There's nothing to say about it. But the fact that he's saying that he thinks free speech is having Alex Jones has to have a Twitter account. I mean, he is going to end up as the darling of the alt-right or something. I guess nobody cares about him.
No one really does.
Can I ask you a question? Who is watching? Let's say you go, hey, I can't argue with the numbers. Who's watching that show? Who cares about his goddamn show that they should keep it on HBO every year? Seriously.
I think a lot of people watch it.
I don't think so.
I think they do.
You do?
Yeah.
Why don't I look up something and research it and then come in with the facts? Instead of...
I mean, I don't know that HBO publishes their numbers. I don't know.
Oh, they may not.
But, yeah. I mean,
It peaked.
Clearly people watch it.
It was fine on ABC. It peaked. It's over. He can't deliver stand-up. This is the new me.
Yeah.
Take a hike.
This is the new you.
You'd be very proud of me. Not even proud of me, but someone sent me, Yoshi sent me some stuff that Emily Nussbaum has been, and it is unbelievable. I spent a half hour, 45 minutes restraining myself from responding to anything. And
Yeah.
so that's great. I win.
That's good.
But she is...
Thanks for fanning his flame, though, Yosh.
Well, yeah, he goes, can I tell you what he said to me? Or is that not enough for the show?
It's between you and Yoshi Yamamoto.
Okay, so he says, and they know they're going to wind me up.
Yeah.
So Yoshi goes, she's at it again. Okay? It's Emily Nussbaum. I felt really changed by Nanette. I want Gadsby's show to be a tool to change the culture. But for it to do that, it needs to be taken seriously, not just politely applauded. A genuine, multifaceted debate about comedy has been a long time coming.
No, it hasn't.
What would that accomplish? She wants to moderate a debate.
Even Hannah Gadsby goes, I'm not quitting comedy. That would be stupid after this.
But what is she really proposing? That we have a convention and we change the Constitution?
It's a grand reformation. Like Vatican II, but with comedy.
I wish I knew what that meant. Is that like in the 60s?
Yeah.
And they just got more. He's back, Vatican II.
This time with guitars.
This time the robes are off. Andy, that's not funny.
First Thought Theater with Andy Kindler.
There's nothing you've ever heard in my oeuvre that indicates there's a second thought.
I know. There's no reaction I've given you ever that should make you think, I don't know that.
So anyway, I started to look online. I found old tweets that she had sent about me, like I'm some weird, I don't understand this weird online energy. So then I started to get really sucked in, and then boom. So the only thing I wasted 45 minutes of my life.
Yeah.
You know how long I've wasted previous times in my life?
That's very contained.
Yeah, because I am insistent that I had the perfect format to talk about her and my gripes.
It was a little much. I still contend it was a little much.
Okay, that's another issue. That
got Lenny Bruce again. Like I said, that was Lenny Bruce's last movie a little bit.
But the point is, that's the field I want to fight on, Josh.
Right? No, I think that is the place you should, because that's the one place that's your piece of ground.
Yes.
It's not Twitter where it's everyone's. It's your once a year. The world is listening to Andy Kindler pulpit, and I respect that.
Well, but the thing
even if you did go too long with her.
Well, here's the thing, though. Twitter, because there's an addiction, it also has diluted everything. Twitter is the one thing I do use mostly, so I'm not like, but it's like it dilutes every part of your life. So not for you. I know that you like the relationship, but it's like, to me, so many times I don't go on stage with a joke when I was tweeting all the time. I'd be tweeting out these jokes, and I feel like I'm getting the energy of what could be in a set that I'm trying. It just got to be too much.
I think that's that's a philosophical thing. I think a lot of comics think I'm not giving it away for free. I'm not going to waste it on Twitter.
But that's got to be a comic only comics who are very one-liner oriented and don't really want to be conversational, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a skill. I don't know. It's like any other art form in a way. It's hard to even say what makes the people you like so great. But like Aparna Nancherla, almost, maybe I don't see all of her tweets, but she tweets she has her voice on Twitter is so great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have nothing edifying to say. I thought I did.
Well, you're rubbing your head now.
But I do notice on Twitter when people come out with jokes, the kind of jokes I wish I'd written that. It's like pretty impressive.
So like my feed.
I always love. I find what you tweet delightful, and a bon mot. Oh God! You know what the problem is, Josh? I think it's that Manafort verdict. We can't. It's like we're living in pre-Manafort verdict days.
We are, but not when this comes out, God willing.
What do you think is going to happen? See, now we could be like Kreskin.
I'm going to say 15 of 18 counts.
Yeah. The way it's shook, and I've been wrong so often, but the way it's shook down for me is the way that judge did the thing with the evidence means that they want to like carefully say, can we say on this one? Can we say on that one?
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. Because if there's like, we think you're innocent, you seem like a nice guy, I'm not going to be happy with that.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Do you think that my prediction that...
Because 12 people have to say he's innocent, too.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Oh, no, it could be a hung jury, I think.
Right, but it's a hung jury.
Hey, if I was on a jury, it would be hung. Get it? Wait, something's happening, Josh. I've ruined something else. This is the story of my life. I broke this now, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What did I do?
Fix it. Screw it back in.
Oh, God. What are you, the guy from Cool Hand Luke? What is it? Do you think you know what it is?
I know what it is. Give me that.
Good job. Okay, we're back, folks. That was rough.
Hey, I gotta tell you.
We're just lucky that the mic stands that we use are so short, because that's where we save the money. Like if we were going to have the Stonehenge that they put in the movie, this would be perfect mics for the Stonehenge people.
Absolutely.
I'm riffing until you find a good thread for us. I'm hoping that you will get us back on track. Where were we? How was your do we flesh out enough CNN?
I think we did, yeah.
Or theories of comedy?
Yeah, I think we're done.
Okay.
Now that you're belittling it, I think we're definitely
I'm not
done.
belittling it. I'm selling out. There's a difference between selling out a bit, which I do with everything.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I'm getting ready for England, and we have to do an extra. We have so much.
We got to do an extra. When do you leave for England? What day?
I leave on Tuesday.
After Labor Day.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we do a Labor Day show?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Does that mean we don't have to do the extra?
No, then we still have to.
God damn it, Josh.
But we just have to do one extra.
Josh,
okay,
why?
we don't. Okay, we don't. I'll just write no new show this week. Andy's fine.
That'd be so terrible. No new show. Why? Because Andy said he had to have time off. Well, that's exciting.
It's a superstition at this point to do a new show every week.
No,
other podcasts put on repeats.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't had a repeat?
Like Marin doesn't, I don't think. But
no, I think even Marin, because I used to listen to Marin every week forever.
Yeah.
And sometimes it wasn't, and you have to wait till Thursday to get the new episode.
Yeah.
Ba-ba-da-ba-dum, ba-dum. Today in the show, shmika-dika-ding-da-dang. Woo! Baka-baka-baka-ba-boom. Wow! That's how I'd like our theme music to be.
Yeah. Then we come in. Hey, spiralers. Hey, thoughtsketeers. Hey, TSs.
Hey. But when he used to say, what the fuck, at the beginning of the show, I was like, come on, this guy's going to get thrown off the air with this kind of language. I don't know. I went one riff too far. One riff? You wish when you're editing the show that there was one riff too far.
I do.
Take a break, is it?
Yeah, let's take a break because you brought a piece of music.
This is unbelievable.
This is unbelievable.
It's a red letter date.
Yes. So tell us about it.
Okay, so Jack Tempchin, I mean, I don't want to go through the whole bragging, but he wrote songs for the Eagles. He wrote "Peaceful Easy Feeling." He wrote "Already Gone," and so he's like an amazing songwriter. And he wrote. He would allow me to go into his studio and jam, and we would come up with these songs. And these songs were, he would pay for the studio time in Hollywood. I'm just saying, I'm not paying for this, is all I'm saying.
Okay.
And then we would ad-lib, and we ad-libbed and came up with the two songs that we used in Bitter, just by ad-libbing and maybe some pop.
Okay. And so we'll split them into two different shows for sure. So which one are we doing tonight?
We're going to listen to Nice Like Me, which is a song that's written about, it's actually written, it's better for Trump. It's almost like prescient. It's written about a Trump-like person. So it's got a Randy Newman feel.
The Musical Scornfield of Andy Kindler. And this is sung by Jack and you?
Yes, we both wrote it. Yeah, and also we both wrote the next song.
No, but you're both singing?
Yes, except he's singing the lead and I come in.
Okay, cool. We'll be back.
Why can't everyone be nice like me? Why can't everyone be nice like me? Oh, life could be so peaceful. Oh, life could be so free. Why can't everyone nice like me? But some people seem to lose their head. nice world, they scream and shout instead. And you know that makes me see red and wanna bash a baseball bat in their head. 'Cause I don't understand, you see. Why can't everybody be nice like me? Oh, why can't everybody be nice like me? Why can't everyone be nice like me? Now when I'm at the grocery store, I stand in line. I let an old lady through, I got plenty of time. And you know it made me feel good. All the time I thought it would. I said, oh, why can't everybody be nice like me? But then at the 7-Eleven, I left my wallet at home. Guy at the counter sees me all the time, wouldn't give me a 25-cent loan. Yeah, that made me kind of pissed. I want to hit his face with a brick. Why can't everybody be nice like me? Oh, be nice like me. Just with a little effort, with a little persistence, a little patience, a little caring, they can be nice like me. They can just try a little harder, and they could be nice. They could be nice like me.
Common courtesy.
Yes, that's right.
General respect.
That's exactly what's missing from...
I'm only asking for what's coming to me.
It wouldn't be that difficult, really.
It's no skin off your nose.
No big skin. That's what yeah, exactly.
What are you complaining about?
I mean, life is good for you. Why can't you just be, why can't everybody be nice like me?
Hey, get off my back.
Why can't everybody be nice like me?
Hey, get off my back. Occasionally I get angry in my car.
Well, those, yeah, but...
When people cut me off and then they also hit me in the back rear side panel and they
so treacherous and murderous.
Blow cigarette smoke in my face. Give me a fake insurance number and then
that's right.
Kick me in the groin for good measure. I have to admit that gets on my nerves.
And they leave him in the street.
Why is everybody getting on my nerves?
It's just an opportunity for personal advancement. They're giving you an opportunity for personal advancement. On the karmic wheel of life, they're helping you out so you can get it right. Yeah, but why can't everybody be nice like me? Wouldn't it be easier if everybody be nice like me? Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that just be, doesn't it make sense somehow just that, and everybody be nice like me? Why can't everybody be nice like me?
Very nice.
It's hard to be in the seat when the music ends and it's a song.
The hot seat, I know.
It's like
No, it's great, man. I love it. I remember it from the special, but I don't think I'd ever heard the whole track all the way through.
You know, we would make so many different cuts, and we always loved it at that length. But you could see there could be some trimming.
It's kind of well, you can tell he wrote for the Eagles.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's the Hotel California,
Right. He's so great. I love his voice too. So.
And yours too, my friend.
Well, it's an intervention.
I love how uncomfortable that made you too.
I know it does, because there's no winning.
After weeks of me doing the Chutzpah Express every week, you're like, you finally come in.
Well, because I got used to it being that this was like part of the show, and it's fun. I couldn't wait to see what happened. I realized I have to get off the dime, and I found my originals songs too. So I'm gonna have to take them to a. I think some of them are on cassette tape.
Yeah,
I'll take those to a thing, like
a transfer house.
Yeah, I don't want to get technical. I don't want to get technical, but don't they have a thing you can buy where you can? Is that what you would do?
Yeah, I mean, if you have the wherewithal, Susan might be able to do it.
And what do you do? Is it like a little recorder you buy?
I'm sure that there is some sort of cassette player USB thing that will transfer the files.
They're coming back. Well, people really. When I was up in Montreal,
but get them off the cassettes, because that cassettes degrade.
Death.
Yeah, they degrade.
Well, not only that, I have them on studio
2-inch or something. Yeah, that's really useful.
Is that absolutely not useful now?
It's absolutely not useful.
You mean even when they're going analog, they can't take my Ampeg tapes?
There's probably 5 working 2-inch machines left in the city.
Oh my God! I had
3/4 inch stuff from the Debar dock, and it was like it was hard to find a 3/4 inch machine for rent anymore.
I remember when I did when we did that bitter thing, and we went with those 8. Well, you didn't know at the time, but we went with those ADAT machines.
Yeah, we did. We did on Allison's album. We did ADATs and DA88s, which was all audio tape, digital audio tape, essentially.
But they've come a long way.
Because hard drives were 40 megabytes back then.
Those were the days.
Oh God.
Well, so that song, the reason why I like it was that does remind me of a Trump type of a thing where the person in the song is.
Yeah.
It's
delusional, has no self-concept.
But it was kind of good because we would get high and we would be like.
First Thought musical theater.
Well, when you say First Thought, it only comes out like that because of the extensive editing.
No, I thought it was very fun. And I thought it built well enough to sustain the length.
Yeah. And I love all the different ways it goes, because it goes into different little call. I like the call and response thing. Do you think I'm the first person who did like rap on music?
Yeah, you are, Ange.
What's that?
Yeah, you were Ange.
Is that my rap name? Ange?
No,
hey, Ange.
That's your Mayberry name. Hey, Ange.
Hey, Ange. Goober says hey.
I talked to Gruber a few times, speaking of which.
And how is he doing?
Gruber, he's doing good. I'm going to see him in a couple of weeks. I'm working up in Salt Lake City.
How are you working? This is like something you made up to throw me off the track of what you're doing.
Yeah. When you're in England, I'm going to be in Salt Lake City.
And exactly what are you going to be doing in Salt Lake City when you're there? You can't tell me? I know what you're going to be doing. Something to do with the voice people that you play with.
No, I'm doing stand-up at Wise Guys.
Is Wise Guys still there?
With Tom Segura.
It can't be the same one that I bombed at. Oh, no, Josh, that's not nice. You told me you never
it's a
put
big
me down.
club downtown.
Oh,
they used to have 2, I think. One of them for, people like you, and then the main room.
My worst experience, and I don't know about you, but like I'm at the age, well, you're not the age, where when I remember these things, sometimes I can't believe that it actually, in a way, happened. But I did a gig in Salt Lake City. Maybe
There used to be a place called the Comedy.
Cartoons.
There was a place called Comedy Circuit up there, and there was one in Snowbird or something. Because I did it with Bliss years ago, and it was in like an old theater, like an actual theater space. But I haven't done it in 25 years.
Well, what happened was they put me up in this. Was the worst of any hotel I've ever been in. Where like the hotels where you put your handprint on the bed, and then if you pick it up, your handprint remains on the bed.
Right, and a puddle fills in.
I literally couldn't sleep, and I'm sorry if I've told the story before. And then the next day, I just stayed up all night singing. And then the next day, I said, "Look, I'm going to pay for whatever the difference is between this hotel and a hotel I can stay in." And I asked him what their room budget was, and he goes, $15 a night. So for $25,
It's like the Old West.
for $25, I stayed at like a brand new Travelodge downtown.
Yeah,
I mean, don't you want me happy?
I do.
I'll never forget the worst thing that a comic did to me, but it was very funny. Was when I played with Gene Pompa at the club called the Discovery Inn. Did you ever play up in San Luis Obispo?
No.
Randall Hearst Discovery Inn is what it was. And they put you up in this hotel, and I went up there with Gene Pompa, and he said, well, we only have one actual room, and then we have one like a convention room. And Gene Pompa goes, my wife's coming to join me later tonight, so I really think I need the room. So he got the hotel room because he came up with the phony baloney.
And you got the conference
And I
room
got
with
the
the hide-a-bed or something?
Yeah, it's really creepy. It's really creepy. It's not as nice as you would think.
Was there a shrimp tray?
It had that, like that Ramada. Don't you think Ramada Inn has a certain feel to it? A sickening feel?
It does, yeah. Like everything's made out of that curtain material. Sort of rubbery.
Here are the things that I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure a Comfort Inn is that great. Or,
All right, now you're babbling. Let's do some questions.
Hey, that's the only thing that I went off the, I wrote
Rails.
off the rails. That's right. I like the way you make it does everything have to be my fault? I'm the bad guy? Something like that? By the way, Emily Nussbaum's father is Bernie Nussbaum, who was a White House counsel to, Bill Clinton. And when you read about him, you go, wow, this guy I like.
So some questions.
Yeah. Do you want me to come up with them? How do you guys, hi, here's a question, test show 68, hashtag. How do you guys come up? Why is Andy so funny all the time? Does it ever make you shy, Josh, how great he is? I'll take my answer off the air.
I wasn't listening to you at all.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I wasn't listening to you. That's what it's come to. A year and a half. I'm sorry. I have no idea.
It took you 10 seconds to process it. So, okay. David Gogo says, when will there be a Kindler Weinstein Monsters of Comedy World Tour?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think we'll start with the cities that we're most popular in. What would that be? Austin?
Yeah, I guess Austin. There we go.
No, we're not playing. What would be the world tour? Be like a branded stand-up based on our podcast? And the Thought Spiral crew.
We could do that. If we each do stand-up, it's the Thought Spiral.
The Thought Spiral.
Christy W. says, has Josh considered doing a doc on the prep and run-up to the State of the Industry speech? I think we did. I think basically our podcast has been a documentary of the prep for the State of the Industry.
Yeah, I don't think
speech.
we need to go further in.
No.
But
it would be funny if Andy kept a running tally of whose jokes were landing during State of the Industry without ever explaining why.
That's pretty fun.
Can we select a song for Josh and Andy to sing? Friend of the Devil, Billie Jean.
Oh, you mean where we sing it as a duo?
I think that's what she's implying.
This is now on to a second thought, right?
This was third. This was 3.
What was the first thought?
This was, have I considered doing a doc?
Oh, yeah.
2 was, it would be funny if.
Yeah.
And then 3 is, can we select a song? It was a 3-parter with 3 numbers.
I would sing, I would love to hop aboard the Josh Elvis train.
Well, that could be part of the Thought Spiral live show tour. Is we'll actually do a break with a song.
Oh my God! It seems so exciting now when you think about it.
And then you think about flying with a guitar.
I felt bad.
That was one of the great things about the Cinematic Titanic tour. Is I did some musical thing most nights before the show because we each did a thing in the opening. We opened for ourselves essentially, and Gruber was always there. So I always played music. I had a bass at every show, and but it was in our rider. They had to provide the bass.
Oh my God!
Because I just was too fucking lazy to fly.
No, I think that's smart. That's smart.
It was good. I mean, it was good and bad because I ended up with every kind of bass, you know. In some cities, it's like they went to SIR and got me a fucking great bass. Some is like the sound guy had a bass that he played 9 years ago in his basement.
Oh, so they're all, for some reason I saw you as a stand-up bass. No, they're all like Fender Precisions.
Yeah,
and.
But I didn't specify. I think I probably went Precision preferred, but
You know, I gotta say though that it would make me a little bit nervous if you got to some place where the bass just.
Well, you know, I wasn't
happen?
doing anything virtuoistic.
Oh, right.
I wasn't doing anything virtuoistic. So, and I always got to sound check, you know, so I always knew what I was going to be playing that night. There was a couple of really shitty ones, but you know, I would do play a solo, like I'd do an Elvis Costello song with a bass part that
Did they provide a tuner?
I brought a tuner along with me.
Sweet.
A clip-on.
A clip. I have a clip-on. There's no shame in it.
No, why go any other way?
I think it's a good thing. Some things are a good thing. Some things are a bad thing.
I have one bass with a tuner built into it. It's that ukulele bass has a tuner built in, which is a delight.
Wait, what do you mean ukulele bass? It has the strings of a ukulele, but the strings of 10 men?
It has the body of a ukulele.
Just like my ex-wife.
And the strings of the sort of proprietary strings that make it play like a bass.
Ooh.
It's a very cool little instrument.
I never knew you could pull out words like proprietary out of your rear. No, who is that guy? Who is that? He's a dog.
It's Muttley.
And how does he sound? Is it really Muttley, though?
Yes.
And there was a cartoon, right?
Yeah.
And the whole hump for it.
Hanna-Barbera,
Yeah.
Greg W. says, you guys make my Mondays. Would love to see it if you're ever in Missouri. If you actually come here to Springfield, I'd be happy to take you to Branson and show you that hellhole.
That might be fun.
Quite an offer.
I'll tell you what. Greg W. is very entertaining. He's very funny.
Yes.
And I think before we go... Well, I don't know. Both sound good to me. The Aliens sound good. But I feel like the Branson tour, we know we would find something there.
Yeah.
It would be as advertised. We hang out with Yakov Smirnoff.
Right.
How do you experience... There's no way to experience the cheesiness of Branson. Maybe there is.
I don't know. I mean, I think you have to go to some shows. Is the thing.
Oh, God. No, you don't.
Yeah, I think you do.
Like, what are you going to find out by going to see Yakov Smirnoff that you didn't know before? But Dolly Parton's not there, right? She's big.
Yeah, I think she's got an amusement park.
Doesn't that make you a little... Yeah. But doesn't it make you a little... Yeah, I don't know why I dragged her into this. but doesn't it make you a little nauseous to think of, like, the kind of acts that are tailored there? It'd be like... Not Kenny Rogers, but...
Yeah, Kenny Rogers would be a guy. I bet he had a theater there at some point.
You gotta know...
I think a lot of people have gone in and pulled out by now.
That's how I felt on my wedding night. Even when I do a genius version of it. A genius version.
No, yes.
You still can't give it up for me.
No, it gives me a stroke every time.
Yeah, I made you cough.
You did.
Oh, Scott Hansen's Comedy Galley. That's an old joke.
Yes, this shirt might be from the 80s.
Like your act. What?
Why?
Why would you do it?
Why?
I don't have any shirts from that time period anymore. I used to have a Talking Head shirt.
Not since the fire.
The Talking Head shirt I had for years and years.
Yeah.
Gone.
Seeing David Byrne this Saturday.
Oh, that's right.
Allison and I went and saw Neil Finn the other night.
I love him.
Yeah.
From Crowded House?
Yeah, and his son, Liam.
His son?
Yeah.
And was it great?
It was really good, yeah. There's a little bit of sameness throughout, but it was very
right.
good.
But I also would love to see, like, I miss Squeeze.
It was like a last minute. Yeah, I've seen Squeeze a couple times.
Me too. Once, I think.
All right. He Ant has 3 in a row right here.
All right.
What would Dennis Miller sound like if he were Jewish? Hoping to hear a schminkle in there somewhere.
So... Well, you should do it because you would
Here's
do
what
the
Dennis
normal.
Miller would sound like if he was Jewish. Hey, I just voted for Hillary.
Hey, you know they have gay people now at the temple. I think it's a nice change.
Here's another Dennis Miller request from He Ant. How would it sound to hear Dennis Miller sell his line of pillows?
His pillows?
Yeah.
You got to do it.
Hey, if you want to go full Van Winkle, why don't you give my pillows a try? The Miller pad. Lay your head down. You'll make a reference to good sleep.
You'll feel like something in something. You'll sleep so well, you'll feel like a reference inside of a sub-reference at the end of a name of a movie you never saw.
Little Nemo in Slumberland. And a final request from He Ant.
How come I don't recognize that email? I mean, not email.
I haven't seen it either. How would it sound to hear the My Pillow guy argue with Billy Bob Thornton about betting?
I can't do these things.
I use a down pillow. Down pillows make your head go down. It didn't make my head go down. I contend it didn't make my head go down. Down pillows make your head go down. What if I were to try a memory foam? Memory foam makes you lose your memory.
You are really, I think, technically filling out the bill of making that into a bit.
I was trying.
Well, can I ask you a question?
It's a request. I'm trying to.
No, I think I don't mean to put you down, but
it was a real effort.
Right, but now, what does he say? How many thousands of jobs have been opened? He claims.
I think I'm going to make that fill by myself. No, that's a patented fill.
Thousands of jobs that he's created?
Thousands of jobs right here in my home state of Minnesota.
He's got to be... I would like to meet him because I think he would be...
I don't think you would like to meet him.
No, I don't think so either.
No.
I think he's a little bit of a cliche.
On this show, he is. Tweet Bahara asks, any thoughts on who might be the last living Beatle? I vote Pete Best, he says.
Well, it's a depressing topic. I think Paul McCartney will live long.
Probably. Ringo's older.
Is Ringo the oldest?
Yeah. Let's see. Dana Schwartz says, I've committed to go see Andy in Toronto. When I'm there, I hope to talk to him, but, quote, my schedule is crazy, unquote. That doesn't mean it, quote, it ain't gonna happen, pal, quote, does it? Asking for a friend.
He is characterizing.
Did you blow him off at some point?
No, I said, I don't know if he's mocking. I don't think he's mocking.
No, he's mocking. He's always mocking.
Oh, okay. So
this
he's mocking.
This guy's always trying to take a poke. This guy. This Dana Schwartz guy.
Forget it.
He'll come in the back door and go, Katinga.
You think you're sleeping for the night. Next thing you know, ba-boom, bang, bang, bang.
Michelle Weiscarver says, both of you are very talented in both comedy and music, as we've now heard from Andy.
Well, come on.
It seems that an inordinate number of comics also have considerable musical talent. For example, Maron, Bill Hicks, Gruber, many others. Do you find that to be true, or is it just that I'm drawn to such comics?
I think it's probably true that there's a lot of people crossover.
Yeah, I think I think it's just standard progression of a guitar is how you get attention first.
That makes sense, yeah.
It's like music is the first thing you see that, like, hey, I could get attention from that. And then when comedy comes along, that's way better.
Well, also, when I was young...
And it doesn't take discipline, and it doesn't take practicing.
But when I came along, I wouldn't have thought to be a comic. I only thought to be, wanted to be a member of the Beatles.
Right.
Because that generationally rock and roll... We don't remember the British comedy invasion of the 60s, do we?
Actually.
We do, right? Who was it? Peter Cook and those
Peter
people?
Cook and Dudley Moore.
I know. I knew my. What's it called when your metaphor just goes south? Or Monty Python, but that's the
They
70s.
came out in the 60s, too.
Why don't you just...
Yoshi Yamamoto. Hello.
Oh, no. I'm still thinking. But not from when you were born, but from when I was born, rock and roll was the thing, right? I mean, someone being born now who might want to do something could think of a lot more things, maybe. I don't know how many more things. Comedy?
No one thinks rock and roll anymore.
They don't?
No, rock and roll is pretty dead.
So that's
art. It's not really, but I don't think that...
Yeah.
Kids don't buy electric guitars as a rite of passage anymore.
Wow. Yeah.
They buy, computer software that makes them make loops.
Yeah. I don't know. I wanted to add that. Yoshi Yamamoto, Yoshi Yamamoto, Yoshi Yamamoto.
Hey, Yamamoto. I covered.
How low can you go?
As a friend, I'm glad Andy's Twitter habits are under control now, but now I got to visit Dave Anthony's feed regularly to supplement my feud fix.
Oh, what does that mean? Is he having a feud or he's probably feuding with someone.
Probably.
Yeah.
Do you
follow Dave Anthony? You don't have to tell me.
I don't.
I
told you.
It could be a problem.
Stand By Your Man says, it seems the terror of last week has been China, Russia maybe being ahead of us in developing tech to take out satellites with lasers and EMP bombs, etc. When they succeed and make America dark again, what kind of lives will you guys lead?
I find it very hard to think in those terms.
Well, first I'm going to go ransack Andy's apartment for all his stockpiled weed.
That's true, too. If I am holding...
Yeah.
You're going. It's like today. I looked in the drawer. It's like I bought 3 more cigar boxes. I love cigar boxes, and they sell them empty ones sometimes. The place on Van Nuys was selling them.
They do.
Yeah, so they sell them like $5 each. I love them, and so I look in the drawer. I go, "Oh, what is this? A whole other box that I have arranged with medicaments."
Yeah.
So I'm really. I don't know how much I have total, but it's enough. It's enough.
It's under the legal limit, though.
Of course. What's the legal limit? An ounce?
I think it's 2 ounces. For medicinal, it's 2 ounces, I think.
No one, you know what? I'm now starting to let it go. I don't think I'm ever going to go to jail for pot smoking.
Yeah, okay, good.
What do you think?
That's when they get you, is what I think.
Yeah, because of sessions, right?
Huh?
You turn around any minute, right?
Yeah, I don't think. No. It would be so unpopular.
To turn it around?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why, when people go, they should have just made it legal in California. They shouldn't have used the, some people claim they use the medical marijuana as a doorway in. It's like any goddamn way you can get it in. You get it in. You don't wait for a constitutional amendment. This is war or of some kind. Right?
Yeah, right.
Don't you know those people who are those people that go, look, if you want to change the laws, change the laws. Those kind of people.
Yeah.
Do you associate with them?
No, I don't. I kind of don't have your thread going.
There are people who will say to me, in the old days maybe more, pot's illegal, you shouldn't smoke it because it's illegal. Those kind of people.
Yeah.
So it's the law. It's the law.
Fuck those people.
Yeah, that's true. I can't even remember them, and if I do remember them, fuck them.
Yeah. Caitlin Holder wants to know, Andy, what size rooms do you normally look for when working the road, particularly in Nashville, Tennessee? Asking for a friend.
Oh, well, it really, any size can work. Maybe not 50 people or 40 people, but anything like around 100 people, I'm in. So if it was like 100-seater and we could sell it out twice, maybe that wouldn't happen. But I did sell a 100-seater in Philadelphia twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all I care about. Am I getting the question right?
Yeah, no, that was good.
Stay away from 300-seat rooms.
Why?
Too big. Is that what Segura plays? He has to, right?
No, he plays. Oh,
God. Such a moron. You set yourself up for the stupidest thing. What does he play? He plays theaters and convention centers, Andy. He plays the Verizon Dome. Oh, must be nice.
this was the club date we're doing in Salt Lake. He sold out like 6 shows, but that was because he was like writing a new set for his next theater tour.
Oh. I am so loved. I'm so loved.
Lucky's back.
Lucky is so cute.
Jim Meehan says, listening to old news and sporting events on YouTube, I noticed they do a lot less joking around than now. Do you think news shows joke around too much now about serious issues?
I'll tell you what I don't like, and Todd Barry pointed this out on Twitter, was we get that Rachel Maddow asks questions. Don't turn it into a promo. They don't know how to make promos for these people. It's like, yes, we get that they can be funny, but they're trying to make them like they're wacky or something.
Yeah,
they're overselling it.
The personality pieces for each anchor
are terrible.
They're very bad. It's not it's not the credibility booster that news media needs.
Well, especially Rachel. I mean, like it sometimes occasionally could get annoying when she goes, "Is this what we should be asking?"
Right.
Is that what the point is?
Did I get everything right?
Yeah, that's her classic one. She introduces a person and then she says, "Is what I said about you accurate?"
Don Diaz-Willis says, what would you say the difference is between someone who's funny in life and someone who's suited to be a comic? Do you know any comics who aren't funny in offstage in regular life?
I used to know more comics. When I first started comedy, there were a lot of people who were way funnier offstage than they were on stage.
Yeah.
But that's just because of the type of comedy. It was like mainstream comedy clubs.
But what about the opposite is what she's asking.
What is she?
People who are funny on stage but not at all funny off stage.
I think that's possible.
I've known a few, but they weren't that funny on stage.
Right. I can see it.
There are people who kind of like, they're the kind of people who are clean comics, and they'll do corporate gigs in colleges, and it's very much a business for them, and it's a formula.
Right. Well, then they're not that fun. But, I mean, if they're funny but truly funny on stage or fake funny? Corporate funny.
Yeah.
That's a whole other topic.
I don't know. It's a hypothetical comic. Yeah. So. But there are people who are disparate in each direction. There are some people who are like, and I think Andy was one of those people for years, who people were like, he's funnier than his act.
True.
I think you've caught up now.
Well, I don't, I asked you to say that, but thank you.
And then there's people who are just, there's plenty of marginal people who are great comics too. I mean, it's not so much. It's not so much that they aren't funny off stage, I think, but it's that like they aren't fun off stage. It's like there's people who are funny, but they're also like deeply fucking angry, or prone to rage, or constantly feeling slighted, or whatever. And sometimes that's funny to everyone around them.
Yeah, they're curmudgeonly.
Yeah. But
I do feel the kinship with comics, even if you don't love the comic. I may be exaggerating it too much, but there is that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's
when you get together and all share notes and fuck around. It's
like fun. It's not as severe as the Seinfeld thing of like they're the only people. And he just believes it's
What's his thing?
He just believes that comics are the only people worthy of hanging out with, basically.
But he used to say like, I never laugh. He said so many crazy things over the air.
Yeah,
I never laugh because I've heard it all.
Right. But I do feel it's the only group in show business I do feel a kinship with.
Yeah.
I don't feel kinship with screenwriters or TV writers, even really, unless they're comics too.
Right.
I don't feel like an actor. I don't feel, like I'm in the director's club. I feel like I'm a comic.
When we're hanging out with either a stand-up comic who became a writer, or he's a writer and was always funny, then you do share that the same sensibility.
Right. But I've met a lot of comedy writers who aren't funny.
Yeah.
Not stand-ups, but comedy writers.
That they were funny writers, though?
They could come up with a funny joke.
Right.
But it was an academic pursuit for them. It wasn't they weren't funny people. They genuinely weren't funny people. But it was a task at hand for them.
If you really focus in on it, there are more funny people today than there ever have been, but being funny is still a thing that is an unusual thing that you kind of like value in someone else.
Yeah, it's still a gift.
Yeah.
But more people know how to write a joke now because of Twitter.
That's the thing. That's like, I could see up comics like, I never want to go on there again. Everyone is tagging, everyone can tag a joke.
Right. Seth Dick III wants to know, will Andy have bangers and mash in jolly old England?
I'm up for any of the things, but yeah, that sounds good. I also would want to have fish and chips.
Smart moves both.
But
how about a shepherd's pie?
Maybe, yeah. But you know what? I don't, for some reason, like Indian food. I think that ship has sailed for me.
Really?
Yeah.
That is an old man problem.
I think you're right. I've been to London in 2005, which was the last time I went there, and I dined at every Indian place. But now it's like, Josh, is it too spicy? It's too spicy. Tell him to take it down a notch. That's me now.
Right. And you have to make someone else at the table do it. You can't ask them yourself. Seth Dick III also says, what is 25 or 624 about? I know it's about drugs, but why the numbers?
That's not what I thought it as.
It is, I saw, this was in the Chicago documentary, and it's 25 minutes to 4 a.m.
Yeah, 25 or 6.
Yeah, or 26 minutes to 4. Right.
That's the only thing I know about it.
Yeah. And it's waiting for a drug dealer or something.
That part I never, because they seem so, will I want to do some more? Will I try to do some more? 25 or 624 or, oh, yeah.
I love the Muppets. And the second part is when Dire Straits doesn't give a damn about no trumpet playing band, are they referring to Chicago?
Oh, I never thought about it. I never thought that song was
don't
like...
Don't give a damn about any trumpet playing band. It ain't what they call
rock and roll. Oh, did I fuck it up?
No, it's just,
Why did you... Wait, you were doing...
I was doing an impression.
All right,
I was trying to do an impression.
Do an impression clean.
Gonzo jumps in.
You please do the impression clean.
No, I don't want to anymore.
Oh, God. Then all I'm left with is the guilt.
Okay, perfect. Mark Thompson wants to know, what would the title of the Andy Kindler and J. Elvis Weinstein buddy comedy movie be?
Mixed Nuts, or it would be Funny and Funnerer? Funnier and Funnier?
Tall and Short, and you play Jeremy Tall, and I play Bob Short.
It seems like we get a lot of things like, hey, why don't you come up with a show for you guys as an answer to my email? Okay, you dress up like a school marm, Andy. You get down on all fours and bark like a dog. I mean, what are we?
Turner and Hooch? I guess we don't have a good answer for that.
I forgot the question.
Shtickle and Pickle.
Shtickle and Pickle.
Our buddy comedy.
Oh. It would be like, we couldn't pull it off. We're not
buddies.
We're not Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. We're not going to make a buddy movie like that. Well, Mars will be more like the Sunshine Boys. Oh, God. Someone get me out of this question. I'm not doing well with this question.
All righty. Terry Caulfield wants to know, what are your thoughts on the Sharknado movies? So bad they're good, or just plain bad? Also, if asked, how many would Andy have been in?
Everyone. But I haven't seen them. What's your take on it? It sounds like it's like they're trying to be shticky campy.
Yeah, I mean, as a Mystery Science Theater person,
yeah,
it's just riff bait as far as I'm concerned. It's the worst kind of exploitation movie as far as I'm concerned, where it's
right.
A self-conscious lack of effort.
Self-conscious, and then the whole movement that's kind of built from it is weak anyway.
Yeah, it's all.
Hey, Sharknado.
Its foundation is a wink.
You know what you're really saying in a way is it's very hard. It's very hard to do a movie like Airplane was to movies. You're doing that more than once, and that might have been the problem while everyone wanted to do Animal House or.
But I don't think it's that. I think it's it's trying to be. I mean, like Airplane was obviously mocking airline disaster movies,
right?
But it still was enough of its own genre that its main joke wasn't mocking airline disaster.
No.
movies,
It was funny, but it was funny in a way like where it would encourage people that the more bits you add, like Animal House is funny, but not every lowbrow Porky's Revenge 7.
Right.
So I didn't see the Porky's movies. You'll have to tell me if they're good.
I enjoyed them when I was 11 on cable.
Yeah, so generally, I've always felt like the tendency to go wacky has been always in comedy, and it doesn't work that well normally. Have you seen any of the Ace Ventura movies?
I saw the first one, I think,
and
it was funny-ish. Of the Jim Carrey over the top run, that was among my favorites.
Well, I never saw Dumb and Dumber. That's supposed to be good, right?
I hated it. I did not like it.
Okay. Well, I never liked the Step Brothers.
I thought Step Brothers was a much better movie. That's a legit good comedy. Actually,
right. I'm wrong again there. You like my new voice? Okay.
Yeah. I'm not interesting.
No, that's kind of like a guy who doesn't care. Hey, what else we got going?
Right. I'm not.
Got any more letters?
I don't need to have a conversation about it. He Ant is back, wanting to know thoughts on Jerry Lewis's influence.
King of Comedy, and which wasn't his movie, and I don't know enough about him. I just have to start saying I don't know enough about this man to make a verdict.
I mean, I think, his influence, I don't know if he had a big influence as a comic. I mean, no one else, I'm sure there were Jerry Lewis-y imitators. I guess Marty Allen was kind of that.
Right.
That shape of.
Well, I don't know.
Of team, but I think as a comedy director, as a film director, he had some influence in the way that set pieces were played out, and he obviously had. And he's credited with, but didn't technically invent the video assist.
Right. But then I have to admit that I never saw The Nutty Professor. How good a movie is that?
I'm not a Jerry Lewis fan, but I think it
sounds interesting to me because the one guy's really mean or something.
It's a fully realized premise,
Yeah.
So.
Why did Eddie Murphy remake it and it wasn't like the original one, right? It was like his own thing?
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with the original. See,
no, it had a lot to do with the original. It was the same. It was the same exact premise, except he was fat instead of.
Oh, okay,
just
that
nerdy.
was different.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was still the same. Turns into the Buddy Love.
Right. So I now know that I've seen the remake.
Yeah.
But I have never seen the original movie, and I should see it.
You should see it.
But then I should also see Bob Hope road movies. I want to see them one day, maybe.
Yeah.
But I can't pass judgment anymore. I can't lie anymore. Sartre, his first two movies, and then he went into his blue period. I can't lie like that. Maybe because I was bad at lying.
Yeah. Well, he didn't make movies. To begin
with. Not Sartre. Who was I thinking about?
I don't
Godot?
know.
No, not Godot. The world's stupidest expert. The French New Wave movies.
Yeah. Truffaut.
Truffaut. That's who I was talking about.
Okay.
Francois Truffaut.
Yeah. Luke Holly wants to know, did you guys learn about the birds and the bees from your parents or somewhere else?
Yeah. What I learned, my parents said, come in here. I want you to see what this actually is. And I was about 12. And they brought me in, and they said, let's do it. And that's how I learned. Nobody's ever learned anything sexual from their parents, I hope.
I knew that. Yeah, I mean, my parents did. I mean, from like way early, my parents were like bombarded us with reality. You know,
Really?
Everything was truth based. Everything was like no shit. You know.
Does it mean they couldn't keep their hands off each other, or?
No, I just mean they were clinical about everything.
Oh.
You know, and they treated us very adulty from a very young age. So
right,
there was never any shame attached to shit with them for the most part. I mean, they snuck it in. My mom snuck it in, but their intent was to not raise us feeling shit like they were raised, essentially.
Right. I feel like they had you had a 10-year advantage or something. Like
yeah, absolutely, I think so too.
I feel like I was still parented in the Stone Age.
Yeah, I mean, again, we still found ways to feel shame and self-loathing and all those things. But
I think my image.
I don't have a direct. There's very few things I blame my parents for.
Is that true?
Yeah, very few.
Wow. I don't want to currently blame my parents, but I'm happy to go back and do it. No, for me, what I'm learning is what my problem was. You know, like why I would freak out about getting abandoned, and what the incidents were when I lost sight of my parents or my friends. Or I want to remember it for that reason. I don't want to remember it so that I get mad at them in the current day. But I think I spent so much of my life not accepting anything negative, like saying, "Hey, that was pretty good."
Well, and I think you said it once early on about how you just never felt safe.
Right.
Like you just didn't feel like your parents had their shit together enough to solve the problem if there was one.
Also, the mood of the house was very...
Everything was the end of the world.
Everything was the end of the world. And so if everything was great, everyone was in a good mood and they were making jokes.
Right.
But it could go off there was no like baseline of, this is your home.
Right. See, my mom would bury the needle, but my dad was, like me, I guess, or rather, I'm like my dad. Is that he was actively always trying to preach having a sense of perspective about things.
No, it's good, right?
He would talk my mom down that way,
Yeah.
And and to the point where that was his way of he tended to intellectualize everything, so he didn't have to feel it emotionally. But at least he processed it in some way. Right. You know what I mean? And so that was his preaching point, was having a sense of perspective about things and not being a fucking drama queen about everything.
So what do you mean your mom could drop the needle?
I mean, my mom could bury the needle in terms of panic and worrying about things. And
okay.
She was...
Yeah. What does burying the needle mean? Like putting it
like going to 11,
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah.
The most intense form of it.
I still think it's, I think of all of the panic I have had in my life, and then it's like, this literally happened in my life. They were driving to a cruise, and my mother forgot her license. So she's driving, the cops pull her over, and she says, "Oh my God, I forgot my license, Larry." And what they do is they jump over each other. Now, I don't understand. We have to say, what would be your thinking? What did you think could happen? So my dad jumps into the driver's seat. She jumps in the passenger seat. And the cop goes, "Weren't you driving when I..." And they literally had to admit that they were afraid because my mom didn't have her license. Now, that's a family that panics.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's a clown act.
It was pretty funny, but I'll never forget that.
It's hilarious. It reminds me of you running away from my door after you knocked a couple weeks ago.
I was that first week. And then, I went to the other door last week for some reason. I didn't get too close, but...
You went to the other door?
The second. I did go one house down, not knowing where I was.
That is weird.
But I didn't go too far.
Okay.
But it's a different look over there. They have treats there. They have a crudité.
Andrew Dempsey wants you to know that Mrs. Maisel was a great show. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. It's not realistic. It's a playful, heightened reality. Definitely style over content, but I enjoy that sort of thing every now and again. Also helps if you watch all 8 episodes.
Well,
he told you.
I'm certainly willing to admit that, here's the thing. If I give something a chance and I give it 8 episodes and I don't like it, it can't be because of what he's saying that it is funny, but I don't get it.
Right.
I don't believe that.
Right.
It's like if I don't get it, it's not funny to me.
Right.
So, but I'm also willing to admit that I've many times in my life seen an episode of a show, hated it, and then went back and watched it again. So I will try again. But I don't agree with that statement, though. They're like, hey, they're doing a thing that they've accomplished. Isn't that kind of what he's saying? They're doing a thing, it's stylized.
Right.
You cannot like it, but you can't say it's not good. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't agree with it really either.
But what I think he's saying, though, is when you're putting something down, it does sound like I'm not getting it. So I have not gotten that show.
Right.
Right. It has not entered my consciousness as like I appreciate it. So that's why I'm willing to say I'll watch more. But I don't think I can watch all 8. If I see 4 and don't like it,
yeah, I think that's a safe bail.
I'll go 4.
I don't think you have any obligation whatsoever to continue on Mrs. Maisel if you don't like it. There's a lot of TV in the world.
That's true. The only reason why I would want to do it is because it's dealing with stand-up.
Right.
But why?
But I mean, that's all the more reason to avoid it in some ways, because it's like, what bothers me about her style is it moves away from human behavior,
Yeah.
It's like that quirkiness is in lieu of human behavior,
Yeah.
And it makes you think of the writer writing it instead of a human feeling it. And that if you can't connect to that, especially a stand-up show where you actually do have some emotional stake in the world, you're not going to connect to it. I
think it's also a point of it being like some things can be clever, but they can also be contrived.
Right.
Like I don't I haven't seen the show enough, but I don't buy that these people in the club would be all of a sudden turning around going, whoa, it's pretty fun. I mean, it's like some of the things made so little sense to me that all of a sudden everybody would be swinging. They reminded me of Sally Field so much in that kind of, I got drunk and I went back to the club. It's like that's got to be the oldest bit in the world, maybe. Don't you think? Like,
yeah, it's,
I'm going to go back there tonight, kids.
It's such a naive conceit
about why things are creative too, right?
Yeah, about stand-up.
Yeah. Hey, wait a second. What I just said there is funny.
I mean, yes, there are naturals.
Yes.
But even naturals aren't instant naturals.
Right. And you have to be careful when you're showing like a biopic or something. You don't want that's why I couldn't stand that Facebook movie. It was like, hey, I just came up with this new idea, the news lead or whatever the thing was. Like they tried to make it as if these were important things because they were Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, I always have this guiding philosophy about writing and directing and stuff, and it's just like, if it's gonna, like bringing Lenny Bruce in, if it's gonna take the audience out of the storytelling, then it's hurting your show. If it's gonna make people think that's Lenny Bruce, or or really,
it's such a big gamble,
right?
So like, there's also a part of me that goes, hey, take a chance, fine. But I actually don't believe that. I think it's like when you, like what you're saying is like you're dealing with a thing that's in a way not sacred, but is so. Lenny Bruce is not a guy dressed like Columbo.
Well, that's the thing is if you're going to alter the reality, don't go dragging real people into your altered reality.
Is it worth it?
Don't make him a fictional character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it's like romanticizes it in the most simplistic way. Did you get a lot of feedback on the show, us talking about the show?
No, not a ton. No. But here's another piece of bossy TV suggestions from the same person, Andrew Dempsey. Have you seen HBO's Succession? Don't even think or listen to what anyone says. Just watch it. The characters are very well drawn and despicable, yet you end up sympathizing. Top-notch stuff. I've lost your trust because of the Maiseling thing, haven't I?
No, the thing is, he has strong opinions, but I would doubt the way he pitches Succession, I'd give it a shot.
I would give Succession a shot before Mrs. Maisel at this point.
What's the one that was on HBO where it was like a something world? Not Westworld.
There's Westworld.
Yeah, but more recently of like, I don't know. It's not like a real reality. They're living in some other kind of.
It's Westworld.
Oh, it is. Okay, so Westworld is just recent.
Yes.
Okay, and do you watch that?
No, I watched a couple, and I want human behavior.
Did John ever get?
There's robots.
Did John ever was John from Cincinnati in the final analysis?
He was from WKRP in Cincinnati.
Do you remember that show though, where he was like a Jesus kind of guy?
Yeah, it was a what's his face, the guy who did The Wire. It was David.
Really?
Yeah.
I should have given it a shot then.
Or was it? No, it wasn't Milch. It was Milch. It was who did Deadwood.
Oh, I never saw it. I mean, I couldn't get into it.
I liked Deadwood, but they lost me after a while. But I liked the first season or two a lot.
Yeah, I totally landed wrong on that. Sorry, man.
I think we're out of questions.
Out of questions. Now, Josh, is there any new projects that you can tell the people about that's happening for you? First of all, are people continuing to watch?
I'm acting in a fictional movie called
The Fiddling Horse?
The Fiddling Horse, yes.
You'll have a plane ticket by the end of this week.
That's what I've been told.
I don't. Whatever happens, I don't mind that for the last 2 weeks. Did you bring up like a Dick Van Dyke episode to something online?
Yeah, Allison cracked a tooth.
Oh yeah.
Over the weekend, and then so I tweeted Allison cracked a tooth last night, and now she's in the other room applying some sort of temporary cement to it. So I feel a Dick Van Dyke episode.
I'll tell you,
developing.
Man. There was nobody, the particular kind of comedy that he could do, like physical comedy, so hilarious. Like the one where he's going to get ready because she's going to be pregnant.
Right.
And he practices.
With his hat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so great.
So, hey, give us a write over at thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com.
Also, I Need You to Kill. I don't know. Why am I helping? I'm not helping.
That helps, I guess, a little. It moved it along. Yeah. Watch my movie on Amazon Prime. I Need You to Kill. It's about stand-up in Asia, or you can rent it or download it at iTunes or Google.
Check out our new podcast, Thought Spiral.
Right. Do check out our merch.
Oh, baby.
The line of shirts we have now. There's 4 shirts available and a mug at Zazzle.com/thought_spiral.
I expect a Paul Manafort style case years from now with Alex Brazell on the hook.
We'll have
for all kinds of money laundering.
The ostrich skin Thought Spiral jacket.
Wouldn't you love to have a life that you had to worry about laundering money? It wouldn't be bad. You have to. I have to get rid of this money. It doesn't sound like that hard.
It doesn't sound that hard. Hey, maybe I'll pay some taxes with some of it.
No, don't get crazy.
And please go to iTunes and rate us and review us.
Very important for us.
And please come back next week.
Oh, thank you. And thank you to Jack Temption, who I emailed earlier today. I think I told you that. And he said, yes, he would he signed off on having the songs on the show. So thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
Anyway, folks, until next time, remember, if your thought's not in a spiral shape,
don't bring it here.